Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at another real story with you. It's a 15-year-old story, but even today when the Bengaluru police remember it, a strange incident comes to their minds. The story is from February 9th, 2010. A new police station building in Bengaluru was having its opening ceremony. A new police station had been built and was about to open, and at that time the police commissioner was heading out to inaugurate it. Along with the inauguration of this police station, an inspector and the rest of the staff were also assigned to it. Based on their previous work, they were supposed to receive commendation letters from the commissioner. Coincidentally, the in charge of this brand new police station, named Miko Layout Police Station's inspector, was also going to receive a letter of appreciation from the commissioner. All preparations had been completed. The police station was decorated. The entire staff was present, and other senior police officers from Bengaluru were also there. Just as it was time for the commissioner to start handing out the letters, Inspector's phone rang. He answered the call, and on the other end, he was informed that near an old warehouse, a man's body had been found with his throat slit. While the inauguration of the new police station was taking place, with the commissioner present, letters of appreciation about to be distributed, and the program in full swing. At that very moment, the police station received its very first case. Inspector then informed his fellow officers about the situation. He told his team, "You all handle things here since we've just been given charge of this new police station, and now we have our first case. The function can continue, but I'll go check the scene. Otherwise, it'll look bad, like the police station opened and messed up its very first case. I don't want to risk getting transferred." So, Inspector Rajesh took a few team members and headed to the location near the old warehouse that had been reported. When they arrived, they saw a man's dead body lying there. His throat had been slit and there were signs of injury on his body. As they looked around the area, they noticed a deserted stretch by the roadside near where the body was found, and everything was eerily silent. There was a car parked by the roadside, which seemed unusual because no one normally parks their car like that in such a deserted area. The police found it strange. When they looked inside the car, no one was there, and the door was left open. As the police peered inside, they noticed blood stains on the car seat. It didn't take long for them to realize that the car was somehow connected to the dead body. The police searched the area thoroughly, but couldn't find anyone who claimed ownership of the car. The body was then taken and sent to the hospital. The police seized the car. There were no clues about the identity of the deceased. No documents or papers were found on him that could help identify him. All they had was the car, and through its registration number, they could try to reach the owner. So the question was, does the car belong to the deceased? If it were a suicide, that might make some sense, but this was clearly a murder. The body had injury marks and the throat was slit. No one would kill themselves in that way, which meant someone had murdered him, dumped the body and fled, leaving the car behind. The police then tried to trace the car's owner using the registration number. Thankfully, it wasn't a difficult task. Using the registration number, the police traced the car to the Koramangala area. They discovered that the car was registered under the name of a man living in Koramangala. The police immediately called him and asked, "Is this car with this number yours?" He replied, "Yes, sir, it was my car, but I sold it 6 months ago." Now the police were confused again. They asked him if he had the name and contact details of the person he sold the car to. He said yes, and explained that the car had been properly transferred and registered in the name of the new owner. The new registered owner's name was Janaki. Since the car had been legally sold, all the paperwork, including the name, number, and address, were available. The previous owner gave the police all the necessary details, and since all formalities were completed during the sale, like the owner's name change, the paperwork clearly showed that the car was now registered to a woman named Janaki. Janaki was known to work part-time jobs in small households around Bengaluru. The paperwork also mentioned her husband's name was Amrit Roy and their home address. A police team was immediately sent to the given address, but when the team reached the house, they found the door locked. They knocked, but there was no response, so the police returned. By now, the function at the police station had ended, and the entire focus had shifted to this case. In the evening, Inspector Rajesh asked for a report on what had been found and whether there was any information about Janaki. Upon investigation, it was revealed that Janaki used to work in small households as a part-time domestic helper. It was also confirmed that she had indeed bought the car 6 months ago as a second-hand vehicle. Her husband's name was Amrit Roy, and both of them were originally from Darjeeling. They had gotten married in 2007. After that, they shifted to Bengaluru. Amrit Roy was a decent, well-settled man in Darjeeling and had a fair amount of money. He was well-mannered, which is why Janaki's family agreed to the marriage. The two were also in love with each other. Shortly after getting married in early 2021, they decided to move to Bengaluru. There, Amrit Roy started working in an office. Amrit Roy was very hardworking and had managed to save a good amount of money. He wanted to make his wife happy, so he bought her a second-hand car. Now, all the details were available, but while Amrit Roy's body had been found, Janaki was still missing, and the house was locked. This raised a serious question for the police. Had Janaki killed her husband and run away with someone else? Since she was missing, all suspicion naturally fell on her. That night, the police team went back to the house. This time, Inspector said, "I'll come along." They spoke to the neighbors, who said, "Yes, she was here just yesterday. We all saw her." That's when Inspector said, "Let's break the door. There's no other option." As Inspector stepped forward and pushed against the door with some force, they realized the door wasn't even locked. Earlier, the constable had only lightly knocked and assumed it was locked, but in reality, the door had just been shut with both panels pressed together. Inspector gave it a push. The door opened and they stepped inside. What they found shocked them. Inside one of the rooms, a woman's body was lying in a pool of blood. The police immediately called the neighbors and they confirmed. This was Janaki. Within just 24 hours of the inauguration of a new police station, the station's very first case turned out to be a double murder. First Amrit Roy and then Janaki. Now, the woman the police had been suspecting, Janaki, turned out to be a victim herself. She had already been murdered. Using their documents and paperwork, the police managed to trace their hometown and got a contact number. They called the number, but before moving further, the police had to confirm whether the deceased were indeed Amrit Roy and Janaki. So Janaki's brother traveled from Darjeeling to Bengaluru. After arriving, he identified both bodies and confirmed that yes, the woman was his sister, and the man was his brother-in-law. He told the police that they had a very loving relationship. So much love, in fact, that Amrit had bought a car for his wife Janaki just to make her happy. He had saved up money not only for that, but he was also planning to buy a plot of land in Bengaluru. He was great at saving and always took good care of Janaki. The police also showed him the items recovered from the house. After seeing everything, Janaki's brother confirmed, "My brother-in-law Amrit used to wear a gold ring on one hand, and my sister wore a gold chain around her neck. Both of them were missing, and the police started to believe that something serious had truly happened. So who could have done it?" Meanwhile, the last rites of both Amrit and Janaki were conducted in Bengaluru in the presence of the police team. Janaki's brother, Santosh, had arrived from Darjeeling, and many people attended the cremation. Neighbors, Amrit's office colleagues, and the families where Janaki used to work. The police asked if anyone had any suspicions about someone. Santosh said, "No, sir. Ever since they moved to Bengaluru, we never heard of them having any enemies." But then, while looking around carefully at everyone in the crematorium, Santosh suddenly looked surprised and said, "I find it strange that Janaki had a brother, but he is not biological brother, but she knew him since the beginning. He's also from Darjeeling and often took care of her. I usually used to ask him about Janaki's well-being. Now that everyone knows Janaki and Amrit have been murdered, how is it possible that he didn't find out? And still, he hasn't come to the house or to the funeral. The police ask, "Who is he?" He replied, "His name is Pradeep. He lives here in Bengaluru and he's Janaki's sworn brother." Now the police were also surprised. Almost all the relatives and known people were present, so where was he? That day, the police started checking Amrit's phone records. They got the number from Santosh, but Amrit's mobile phone was missing. It wasn't found at the crime scene or at the house. When the police tried calling the number, it was switched off, so they put it under surveillance. Meanwhile, they also began searching for Pradeep. It was possible he hadn't come for some reason, or maybe he simply didn't know. But at the same time, if he was the killer, there was no proof yet. Time kept passing. Then suddenly, the police got a lead. Amrit Roy's mobile phone had turned on. As soon as it was switched on, a female police officer called the number, pretending to be a regular woman. She said, "I want to meet you." The person who answered said, "Okay, I'll meet you." At that moment, the phone's active location was showing about 70 kilometers from Bengaluru. But what surprised the police even more was that the phone and the person using it was moving toward Bengaluru, not away from it. This confused the police. If the killer had Amrit's phone, why would he return to Bengaluru instead of fleeing? So the police set up a trap and began tracking the phone's location carefully. And finally, just before reaching Bengaluru, the person who had Amrit's mobile was caught. When the police caught him, they thought the case was solved. But the story became even more complicated. That man told the police that he had actually found a broken phone and a SIM card in Bengaluru. The phone itself was useless, so he threw it away. But the SIM card still had some talk time left, so he put it in his own phone and thought, since there's free balance, I might as well use it to make some calls. Once the talk time ran out, he planned to throw it away too. The police investigated everything about him, his name, background, and location. It turned out he was telling the truth, and he hadn't even been in the area during the time of the murders, so that lead turned out to be a dead end. Meanwhile, the search for Pradeep continued. He still hadn't been found. Then the Bengaluru police decided to pull out the list of friends linked to both Amrit and Pradeep. Among them, 3 close friends of Pradeep were identified. They were all originally from Darjeeling and Assam and were currently living in Bengaluru. Their names were Santosh Chetri, Pritam, and Tama. The police picked up these 3 individuals and began questioning them. Each one started giving a different story, but when the police separated them and interrogated them one by one, their statements didn't match. After some pressure and intense questioning, one of them broke down and confessed. He admitted everything and revealed the full story. He said that, in fact, all of them had killed Amrit and Janaki together on Pradeep's instructions. When asked the reason behind the murder, he explained that Amrit Roy had a lot of money. Some time back, Amrit had told Pradeep that he had around 1 million and was planning to buy a plot of land. Pradeep was jealous of Amrit. He thought, I also came from Darjeeling. I also work here just like him, but he's buying a plot and even bought a second-hand car. How was he doing so well? When he heard about the money and the plot, Pradeep got the idea that if they killed Amrit, they could take the money and split it among themselves. He convinced his friends to join him in the plan. Then, on February 10th, they went to Amrit's house. Since Pradeep treated Janaki like his sister, they all ate there together. After dinner, Pradeep told Amrit to drop him off somewhere in his car. Amrit had recently bought a car, so he agreed. While driving, Pradeep asked Amrit to stop near the old lake in a dark, deserted spot. He said he needed to step out for a moment. When the car stopped, his friends, who were already waiting, joined him, and together they attacked Amrit with a sharp weapon, slitting his throat, all while inside the car. After that, they took Amrit's body out of the car and dumped it a little further away, near the edge of the area, and left the car there. Now, the question was, what to do about the money? They assumed the money must be at Amrit's house, but then they realized they'd have to kill Janaki too, because Janaki knew them well, and she also knew that they had gone out with Amrit. That made her a witness, a potential link to the crime. So they went back to Janaki's house. There they lied to her, saying, Amrit has been picked up by the police because he didn't have a driving license or car papers. Please give us his license so we can go help him. Janaki went inside to get the license. At that moment, they attacked her from behind. Janaki tried to fight back and defend herself, but she was alone and they were 3 or 4 men. After a struggle, they overpowered and killed her too. Then they searched the house, took whatever cash and jewelry they could find, and ran away. After the murders, the 3 accomplices split up, and Pradeep left Bengaluru, heading to Chennai. From Chennai, he planned to go to Darjeeling. Pradeep knew that if he made it all the way to Darjeeling, catching him would become extremely difficult. Now, Pradeep reached Chennai, and from there he booked a reserved train ticket to go to Darjeeling. But the night after the murder, while staying at a guest house in Chennai, something strange happened. That very night as he slept, he saw Janaki in his dream. She asked him only one question. Tell me, why did you kill me? Why did you murder me? At first he thought it was just his imagination or a bad dream, but the next night it happened again. He went to sleep and once more, Janaki appeared in his dream and asked the same question. Will you answer me? Why did you kill me? Now he started getting anxious but still tried to brush it off. Then came the third night. Janaki appeared again and said, Give me an answer. Why did you kill me? If you don't, I'll keep haunting you like this. From that point on, Pradeep became deeply disturbed. He started trembling constantly, panicking morning, afternoon, and night. He also had relatives in Assam, where beliefs in spirits, ghosts, and black magic were strong, and Pradeep believed in all of it. He became convinced that since he had committed the murder, Janaki's soul had turned into a spirit and was now haunting him, and that she would never leave him alone. Eventually, the fear overwhelmed him so much that one day in Chennai, he jumped in front of a train and ended his life. He attempted to end his life. He jumped in front of train, but by chance, some people saw him and managed to save him in time. He suffered some injuries and bruises, but he survived. After that, he returned and kept thinking, still haunted by the recurring dreams. Once again, Janaki appeared in his sleep. Finally, he made up his mind. He would go back to Bengaluru, apologize, and surrender himself to the police. Meanwhile, all his friends had already been caught by the police, but Pradeep had no idea about that while he was in Chennai. At one point, Pradeep needed some money, so he called a friend in Bengaluru and asked, I need some money to return to Bengaluru. Can you help me? That call reached the police. Through his friend, the police tracked Pradeep's location. As soon as he began his journey from Chennai to Bengaluru, the police kept him under surveillance by tracking his phone. Hermes says. And finally, on January 26, 2010, just 16 days after the double murder, the police arrested Pradeep midway between Chennai and Bengaluru. When Pradeep was arrested, he told the police himself, I was already on my way to surrender. I just wanted to apologize. After what Janaki kept saying in my dreams, I don't think I could have lived any longer. He was also afraid of the reaction from his home region, Assam and Darjeeling, where half of his relatives lived. That fear, combined with the guilt and terrifying dreams, drove him to the point of surrender, and even to a suicide attempt earlier. Eventually, the police arrested him, and in this way, a newly inaugurated police station in Bengaluru, opened just 16 days earlier, solved a major double murder case that had grabbed media headlines at the time. The case went to court. The court sentenced Pradeep and his 4 friends, all 5 of them, to life imprisonment. Later, the case went to the High Court, which also upheld the life sentence for all of them. So this was today's story. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. We hope you enjoyed the content and found it valuable.